XMLNA, Prosody Rate HTTP, Teaching Golden Ages and Titles are global pictures on small steps to medic recession. 2001/10 Place Synthesis XML. Lang equals in US's, voice name equals in US AVA. Dragon HD latest neural, prosody rate equals 0% pitch. Welcome to our deep dive into coordinate covalent bonds, also known as dative bonds. In this presentation, we will explore how one atom can donate both electrons to form a shared pair, a concept fundamental to Lewis acid-base chemistry, the formation of complex ions like ammonium and hydronium, and coordination chemistry. Let us begin. Speak. V version equals 1 veto XMLNNs equals HTTP dfxs/www.w3.org/2001/10/synthesis's XML lang equals MUSS Dragon HD latest neural prosody rate equals 0% pitch. So, what is a coordinate covalent bond? It forms when one atom provides both electrons for a shared pair, while the other atom provides an empty orbital. The donor must have a lone pair available, and the acceptor an empty orbital. Once formed, the bond is indistinguishable from an ordinary covalent bond. The distinction lies only in the origin of the electrons. Proposed by Lewis in 1923, arrow notation points from donor to acceptor. Voice speak. Question. Pitch TP. Today, TP better XMLNNs equals HTTP d/www.w3.org/2001/10/synthesis's XML lang equals NUSA Dragon HD latest neural prosody rate equals 0% pitch. 0%. Coordinate bonding is the basis of Lewis acid-base theory. A Lewis base is an electron pair donor with a lone pair. A Lewis acid is an electron pair acceptor with an empty orbital. When they react, a coordinate bond forms. This is more general than Bronsted-Lowry theory. Key Lewis bases include ammonia, water, and halides. Lewis acids include the proton, boron trifluoride, and transition metal cations. Speak. Prosody rate. The algo-monas avar Dragon HD latest neural synthesis's XML lang equals unus voice name equals NUS AVA Dragon HD latest neural prosody rate 0%. The ammonium ion is the classic example of a coordinate bond. Ammonia, NH3, has nitrogen with a lone pair. When it meets a hydrogen ion, the lone pair donates into the empty orbital, forming NH4+. All four NH bonds are identical at 1.03 angstroms. Speak. Crew for street. My partner Steven might be first infect. Do you tell you from what your first trial to and part of yourself could gods? Freshers to the long term. Do you tell you my partners what you just sell as your docker? And parting you safe to you will we matter by join a forga? Looking video somebody and breeze online count prosody rate. Water is a Lewis base. Oxygen in water has two lone pairs. When an acid donates a proton, water donates one lone pair into the proton's empty orbital, forming H3O+. This is central to acid-base chemistry. H3O+ has trigonal pyramidal geometry with a bond angle of about 113 degrees. Voice speak. Prescribe. Resume a prosody voice name today's announce. Data topics and liation is in a summary packet list Friday. Dragon HD latest neural prosody rate Indus AVA Dragon HD latest neural prosody rate. Boron trifluoride is a Lewis acid without a proton. Boron has only 6 valence electrons with an empty p orbital. BF3 is trigonal planar with 120-degree angles. When NH3 donates its lone pair, the adduct F3b NH3 forms. Boron changes to tetrahedral sp3 with 109.5-degree angles. The BN bond is 1.58 angstroms. Increase H. Prosody rate. 0 Sci rating Twidget or secret age or precedentes is Twidget at an elements. Reading Twidget where the biggest crotch rides. Friendly characters are resonate for breaths and uppos are running. Dragon HD latest neural prosody rate Carbon monoxide has a fascinating bonding picture. It has a triple bond between carbon and oxygen, but one of the three bonds is a dative bond where oxygen donates a lone pair to carbon. This explains why carbon carries a partial negative charge despite being less electronegative than oxygen. Coacts as a Lewis base through the lone pair on carbon, binding to iron and hemoglobin 200 times stronger than oxygen, causing carbon monoxide poisoning. Speak. Creative USO means Institutes and HDTP. They interpret the position to sequentiary of a 40 power billion to Gogaspec demand, prosody rate, and secretaries of Franduing 3 or in West threads on processes that your Mars swept so. This sees all these artists Dragon HD latest neural, prosody rate, HDTP bowling that one's effort Dragon HD latest neural, synthesis, XML, Lang. Transition metal complexes are the most important application of coordinate bonding. Metal ions like Fe2+, Cu2+, and Co3+, serve as Lewis acids with empty d orbitals. Ligands like water, ammonia, and cyanide act as Lewis bases, donating lone pairs to the metal. The coordination number is typically 4 or 6. Examples include ferrocyanide used in Prussian blue pigment, tetraamine copper with its deep blue color, and cisplatin, an anti-cancer drug. Speak. Version equals 1.0 XMLNNs equals HTTP, taking is www.w3.org/2001/10 for synthesis, XML, Lang, equals NUS, voice name equals NUS AVA, Dragon HD latest neural, prosody rate, equals 0%. The key difference between ordinary and coordinate covalent bonds lies purely in the origin of the electrons. In an ordinary bond, each atom contributes one electron. In a coordinate bond, one atom provides both. After formation, there is no physical or chemical difference. In NH4+, all four NH bonds are equivalent with a bond length of 1.03 angstroms and bond energy of 391 kilojoules per mole. Spectroscopy cannot distinguish which bond was formed datively. Prosody rate. Each is Exelon and US AVA, Dragon HD latest neural, and prosody rate. Prosody rate, its names in Finison, reflects 3 Twachopta. Voice name in US AVA, Dragon HD latest neural, prosody rate, 0%. Coordinate bonds can be studied through several techniques. X-ray crystallography reveals the BN bond in F3b, NH3 is 1.58 angstroms, longer than typical BN single bonds. Infrared spectroscopy shows NH stretches shift from 3337 to 3140 wave numbers in NH4+. NMR boron 11 signals shift upon adduct formation. Thermochemical measurements show bond energies of 80 to 200 kilojoules per mole for coordinate bonds. These bonds are polar with partial charge development. Prosody, voice. Prosody rate. Beauty, something by the time of mighty mind for emerging history, from early twin theory for getting upset on her great shots prods. Beauties in his interrooms offers the usual two-form, imagination is tempting to teach, disease in Bradlessa text toppered, and education in episodes and embracing into handing hers. Quiz question 1. In a coordinate covalent bond, where do the shared electrons come from? Option A, both atoms contribute one electron each. Option B, one atom provides both electrons. Option C, the electrons come from an external source. Option D, the electrons are shared equally from the environment. Take a moment to think about this. The answer will appear shortly. Speak. For example, supporting emerging Hardwick the organization towards storing objective. Bacon episodes food into people for you in US AVA, Dragon HD latest neural, prosody rate equals 0%. Quiz question 2. Which of the following best describes a Lewis acid? Option A, a substance that donates a proton. Option B, a substance that accepts a proton. Option C, a substance that accepts an electron pair. Option D, a substance that donates an electron pair. Think carefully about the definition. Voice speak. Prosody rate is a run president prosody rate at white free to the document on the speechable exults. Dropping that publicly deep used. Brighten, last flake for a convincing critique prosiding, proceeding to make that for my group for examples across the course rate. Dropping mused, olive by honorizing and muse, and art spirits that new exists. Quiz question 3. After a coordinate covalent bond is formed, how does it differ from an ordinary covalent bond? Option A, the coordinate bond is always longer and weaker. Option B, the coordinate bond is shorter and stronger. Option C, there is no physical or chemical difference. They are identical. Option D, the coordinate bond is always ionic in character. Remember what we learned about NH4+. Speak. Prosody rate. Didn't use in your easy port. But considering your easy port yourself, but care in the sheet, have some your relaxy, and actually celebrating or getting focused on healthy and mediums. For simply freaking the prosody types AG. Prosody rate was 0% and mass steps supporting with the UC port. Quiz question 4. Which species is not an example of a coordinate covalent bond formation? Option A, NH3 plus H plus gives NH4 plus. Option B, H2O plus H plus gives H3O plus. Option C, Na plus plus Cl minus gives NaCl. Option D, BF3 plus NH3 gives F3B NH3. Only one of these involves ionic bonding instead of coordinate bonding. Voice speak. Prosody rate, HTTP, Dative, strategy predignity friends and providing and the sentency, portat, emissioning HTTP, Dative to levels slash twice percenters, prosody rate, simple vise and craptons for P's. Quiz question 5. In the ammonium ion NH4+, what is the geometry around the nitrogen atom and the NH bond angle? Option A, trigonal planar with 120 degrees. Option B, linear with 180 degrees. Option C, tetrahedral with 109.5 degrees. Option D, bent with 104.5 degrees. Consider the hybridization and lone pairs. Speak voice, speak. Great. Jackal Fire, Media Popular People, Friendships of Talk About Quit Experience, The Epic Stone Part HTTP, Dapton Grills, www.w3.org/2001/10 processes, XML, lang, equals NUS. Voice name equals NUS Ava, Dragon HD latest neural, prosody rate. Problem 1. Identifying the dative bond in NH4+. Let us work through this step by step. Break time equals 3s. Step 1. NH3 has nitrogen with 5 valence electrons, 3 used in NH bonds, 1 lone pair. Break time equals 3s. Step 2. The lone pair on nitrogen is in an sp3 hybrid orbital. Break time equals 3s. Step 3. H plus is a bare proton with empty one's orbital. It accepts the lone pair. Break time equals 3s. Step 4. Coordinate bond forms, H3N arrow H plus. Break time equals 3s. Step 5. All 4 bonds identical due to resonance. Answer. All 4 NH bonds are identical. The dative bond is indistinguishable after formation. Voice, speak. Problem 2. BF3NH3 adduct geometry. Break time equals 3s, step 1. BF3. Boron has 2s, 2p1, only 3 valence electrons. Break time equals 3s/step 2. Boron is sp2 hybridized, trigonal planar with 120-degree angles. Break time equals 3s/step 3. Boron has an empty 2pz orbital. Break time equals 3s/step 4. NH3 donates lone pair into boron's empty 2pz orbital. Break time of 3s, step 5. Boron rehybridizes to sp3, tetrahedral with 109.5-degree angles. Answer. Boron changes from sp2 trigonal planar 120 degrees to sp3 tetrahedral 109.5 degrees. Speak. Porosity rate of Kid Forn James for an improvement and US EVA, Dragon HD latest neural, porosity rate expression of Balti Texas, improvement taxes narrow 2000 voto/10/synthesis XML, lang equals malface name equals NUS EVA, Dragon HD latest neural, porosity rate. Problem 3. Cl3 plus Cl minus, step 1. Al has 3 valence electrons, only 6 around Al. Step 2. Al is electron deficient with empty 3p orbital. It is a Lewis acid. Step 3. Cl- has lone pairs. It is a Lewis base. Step 4. Cl- donates lone pair into Al empty orbital, forming AlCl4-. Step 5. Product has sp3 tetrahedral Al with 4 equivalent bonds. Answer. AlCl4-, Al sp3 tetrahedral. Horizon XMLNNs, especially today www.w3.org/2001/10/synthesis's XML. Lang equals NUS, voice name equals NUS EVA, Dragon HD latest neural, porosity rate. Problem 4. CO bonding analysis. Step 1. CO has 10 valence electrons total. Step 2. Triple bond with 1 sigma and 2 pi bonds. 1 sigma is dative from O to C. Step 3. Carbon contributes 2 electrons, oxygen contributes 4. Step 4. Formal charge carbon equals 4 minus 2 minus 3 equals -1. Step 5. Dative bond explains why less electronegative carbon has negative charge. Answer. The dative O to C bond gives carbon a formal negative charge. Voice, speak. version equals 1, 0 XML and ends equals HTTP, www.w3byte.org/2001-10/synthesis, XML, lang, equals NUS, voice name equals NUS AVA, Dragon HD latest neural, prosody rate. Problem 5. Fe3 plus in water. Step 1. Fe3 plus has empty 3D orbitals, acts as Lewis acid. Step 2. H2O has lone pairs on oxygen, acts as Lewis base. Step 3. Each water donates a lone pair into the empty d orbital of Fe3+. Step 4. 6 water molecules donate. Coordination number is 6. Step 5. Octahedral geometry, 6 ligands at 90 degrees. Answer: Fe H2O 63+. Octahedral, coordination number 6. Voice speak. Prosody rate are patterns, HTTP. Dative/www.w3.org/2001-10/synthesis XML lang equals NUSA voice name equals INUS AVA Dragon HD latest neural prosody rate. Let us summarize the key concepts we have learned about coordinate covalent bonds. First, a coordinate covalent bond is one where both shared electrons come from a single atom, the donor. The acceptor must have an empty orbital. Once formed, the bond is indistinguishable from an ordinary covalent bond. Second, Lewis acids are electron pair acceptors with empty orbitals. Lewis bases are electron pair donors with lone pairs. Every coordinate bond is a Lewis acid-base reaction. Third, the ammonium ion NH4+ forms when NH3 donates its lone pair to H+. All 4 NH bonds are identical. Fourth, the hydronium ion H3O+ forms when water donates a lone pair to H+. Fifth, BF3 acts as a Lewis acid without a proton. It changes from trigonal planar sp2 to tetrahedral sp3 upon adduct formation. Sixth, carbon monoxide contains a dative bond from oxygen to carbon, explaining its reversed polarity. And finally, transition metal complexes rely on coordinate bonds between metal ions and ligands. These concepts are essential for understanding modern coordination chemistry. Voice, speak. Percent equals 1% XML and ends equaled HTTP, DIDPT, HTTP //www.web3.org/2001/10% synthesis HTTP. Lang equals NUS, voice name equals NUS AVA, Dragon HD latest neural, prosody rate equals 0%. Dative bonds are everywhere in nature and industry. Hemoglobin contains an Fe2+ ion coordinated to 4 nitrogen atoms in a porphyrin ring via dative bonds. The 6th coordination site binds oxygen reversibly. This is why carbon monoxide is poisonous. It forms a stronger dative bond to iron, 200 times stronger than oxygen, blocking oxygen transport. Vitamin B12 has a cobalt ion at its center, coordinated via dative bonds. Chlorophyll has magnesium in a porphyrin-like ring, essential for photosynthesis. Industrial catalysts like Wilkinson's catalyst rely on dative bonds between phosphine ligands and rhodium. The Haber-Bosch process uses iron catalysts where dative bonds between N2 and iron weaken the triple bond, enabling ammonia synthesis. Understanding coordinate bonds is truly essential for modern chemistry. Voice, speak.